So for the last year and a half, it's been 18 months of descent. 72 weeks. Yikes. It's been quite the ride, hasn't it? Now, the reason why I'm talking about that is we have finally completed the entire Descent Com folder. The entire thing. So we have all of the lore, all of the story background to all of the storylines. So in today's video, it has been highly requested that I go over all 72 comms in one video. That way it's kind of like your one-stop shop to all of these storylines, and then you can be completely caught up before the new DLC. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Descent comms and all of the crazy storylines, including Hunter bunkers, rosters about double agents, Heartland. We're talking about mutated viruses, Natalia growing the Black Tusk. All of those storylines and more is in this roster, in this folder of comms. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Here we go. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. But like I said, we will go over all of the comms, all of the storylines, and catch you up with all of the Division 2 lore, all the way up to Year 6 Season 2, which is supposed to go live on Tuesday. So what I will do is I will go over little groups of these comms, and then we will talk about the storyline and then continue. Because every like 3 or 4, it's a different storyline. So you can see here Calvin McManus and Natalia talking about Ortiz for, let's see here, the first, I mean, for them, it's pretty much like the first dozen. It's all Natalia and Calvin McManus. It was basically all of the background lore on how Descent was made, why Descent was made, and why this even exists for the Division. It was pretty cool. So we'll go over that, a little bit of lore from Warlords of New York, including some of the manhunts afterwards. We will be talking about Vivian Conley and how all of those fire, like the big tower of fire, basically, from Stranded Tanker, and how all of those things were made. We'll talk about how Aaron Keener was recruiting Division agents. There's quite a bit to talk about here. All right, so let's just go ahead and start at the top, and then I will just slowly try to work our way through it. All right, here we go.
Felix got into medical school.
You're paying, of course.
Of course.
Well, I know our pockets aren't as deep as yours. Hopefully you'll play nice in the bidding war today.
Oh, Cal, I don't want to start a war with you. We're not interested in a bidding war. We've set the price. Either you can pay it, or you can't.
What Claire means to say is this technology is not exclusive. Everything you see today will be available for your organization with top-of-the-line security to ensure that your data stays secure, remotely accessible, and permanently backed up on a private apocalypse-proof server at one of our bases in North Dakota or Alaska. Alaska?
Isolated and cold. Easier and cheaper to maintain security and temperature control of the servers. I assume you're underground and using geothermal cooling? That's correct, Ms. Sokolova. Nat, please.
Okay, so we start off pretty heavy with the lore. So this is Calvin McManus. He is a part of the U.S. government. And then we have Natalia Sokolova. She is a part of her own third-party company. We find out later that it's about the Cabal, and we'll talk about that later. Now, this is Calvin McManus, the U.S. government, and Natalia, the third party. Kind of think of it like BlackRock or something like that. And they are having a bidding war with the Ortiz robotics company. Now, the Ortiz is ran by a brother and sister combo, and the Ortiz Robotics, they developed not only ISAC, which we use, they develop Anna, which the hunters use, and they develop Diamond, that the Black Tusk use. These are all 3 different AI systems. You can see on my character right now, above his shoulder is that little brick with the ring around it. That is Isaac. All right. Now we know that Anna, like the hunters, it can control Isaac and Diamond. Where Diamond is for the Black Tusk, it's more of like a watered down version of Isaac where it doesn't talk, it doesn't really do anything, it just does the commands and can kind of maneuver mobily without any sort of human interaction at all. You can just set your drones, set your DARPA dogs, set your Wally bots, and then they can just follow and do whatever it is you want. And that's how Black Tusk was working the launchers during Tidal Basin, and that's how the Black Tusk were working like the Marauder drones and things like that. It's all their own AI system, and it's called Diamond. Now ours is called Isaac, and then Anna is the more superior version. It can control all 3, and the AI is more how would you call it? More like Skynet, if you will. It has a mind of its own. Pretty cool stuff. So let's continue on. This is the very early stages of this, where they are just now learning about these AI systems. They are bidding on them. They are bidding on the DARPA dogs. They are bidding on the drones and Wally bots, all of that stuff. So let's continue on.
Cal wants us to update all 3 systems on his watch.
Why?
Someone said the color cycling made him look like a disco ball.
Was it Vic or Natalia?
Does it matter?
Yes. Because if this is about function or ego, I have different solutions.
Function. He doesn't need help with his ego.
We can have all 3 accessible through a single interface, but it could create security issues. A backdoor into the systems that would make it much easier to hack as long as you have legitimate access to one of the systems. You could get into the other 2.
Is that a bug or a feature?
Depends on how clandestine and classified you want your organization to actually be in practice.
The watches are inert until Isaac is activated, right?
More or less. Until you're activated and we maintain activation, it's just a watch.
A very smart watch.
Yeah, but without activation and the brick, it's just a watch that someday may alert you to get off your ass and get to work.
So until activation, there really isn't a threat.
Not to security. But they are passive. They are recording everything, all the time, and filling the databases. If he wants his analysts to be able to access all that intel and data, then feeding all 3 into the same repository could be beneficial. But it's definitely not secure.
And what about the other databases?
Like Diamond?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it's all built on the same tech. If he wanted a backdoor into their operations to monitor them, it's just a matter of giving him access to their database.
How hard would that be to hook up?
It's 1 server and 1 update, 5 minutes. But it would put our other contracts in danger if they ever found out.
How would they find out?
The same way Cal would find out. They would all have access to the same backdoor. If they are all from the same root, it's just a matter of finding the right file. It's all there, but if someone gets bored or goes looking, they can find anything they want. If they've got the skills and patience to weed through the garbage first.
Okay. So this part, Calvin McManus wants his watch to be 1 single color. He doesn't like the different colors. And he also wants to be able to access Isaac and Diamond at the same time. Now, this is where Anna comes into play, because remember, the hunters can control all of your systems, all of your skills, things like that. And this is like the early stages of that. He wants a back door, that way he can control these systems just in case. And that's exactly what the hunters have on them. Now, Diamond, just remember, is for the Black Tusk, the White Tusk. That is what that entire faction uses from Natalia Sokolova. They've been using it since the game came out. Let's see. Next up, we have contracts. Let's keep it going.
I'd really like to see the new prototypes when you have them ready. Until then, it's a pass for me.
That's too bad, Nat. I really think you'd benefit from getting in on this early. Be able to shape the R&D.
She's right. It's not a good fit. Besides, I'm not really comfortable working with private organizations with practically no public profile beyond Sokolov concern. I can't imagine your entire business is built around tactical knee pads. I value discretion, Mrs. Ortiz. And I am sure you can appreciate that it's not wise for a woman in this industry to lay all her cards on the table until she is ready to play them. I can. If you're concerned about the data, we can build a private server with biometric security. Only people you've personally vetted would have clearance to access or amend your services. That's excellent to know. Alexander, please do get in touch for a demonstration once you get the interface down to a single component.
The prototype should be ready in a couple of months.
Excellent. Well, I'll let you finalize this deal. Cal, see you at the benefit later.
Wouldn't miss it for the world. Now, Alex, tell me, where do I sign?
All right. So at this point, they are signing their contracts to have Ortiz develop these tech and AI systems for them. Natalia wants a more private network, and she wants it more remote, where only certain people can access this information even at those remote sites. So something like Camp White Oak and what Birdie was doing with the Recruiter manhunt mission, where she was accessing all of their servers. Now, what this also explained was Natalia Sokolova is a part of the Sokolov concern brand set knee pads. It was pretty funny. I thought that was a nice little Easter egg there. Now, next up, we have number 4, which is the mobile prototypes. And listen to this.
I think you are really going to like this. For the rural agent, or in the unlikely event that the global or national network goes down, may we present the mobile shade server.
It looks like a briefcase.
Exactly.
That is a briefcase.
No, it's a mobile shade server.
Then why does it look like a briefcase?
Because you were right. Your agents are supposed to be hidden in plain sight, and it would be really hard to justify a Warhound in someone's garage, but a briefcase, that's easily concealed and innocuous.
You spend much time in the rural parts of the country?
Can't say that I do.
You think an agent on a tractor with a leather-bound briefcase with a big Phoenix medallion isn't conspicuous? God help me.
Well, when you put it like that...
Make it metallic and lose the insignia. You can put the logo on the screen, but the outside should be blank.
That's excellent feedback, Cal.
And those are the same briefcases that we see with Aaron Keener and our agents and Agent Kelso throughout multiple cutscenes from our manhunts in the past. This is basically how they're developing the Shade Network. So we're just getting more insight on how this was even developed before the green poison and all of that came out. Because Calvin McManus, he's basically the creator of the division. He's the one that had the contracts for ISAC. He's the one that basically helped develop the Shade Beacons, like we just saw there. And he's the one that actually monitors the agents through their watches, like we already heard in the comms. And later on, we're going to hear how he finds out a lot of information doing that exact thing. Kind of think of like the Patriot Act and like that whole big legal thing that happened with the government. And that's essentially what Calvin McManus is doing. He's using these division watches to tap in and listen to and monitor whoever he wants. It's, pretty dirty. All right, let's keep going. This one's called Ordered.
If your mobile shade server works half as well in the field as it does in the simulation, this could be a game changer.
We're glad you agree.
Does Nat know about this?
No, this is a failsafe for your agents only.
Good. Good.
There may come a time when you need to cut off her access to the network, and until you can isolate your access, this is an insurance policy against a potential coup.
You're a true patriot.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm sure Nat would be willing to pay top dollar for something like this.
I'm sure she would. But some things are too dangerous to give to the highest bidder. Some things should only belong to the people.
And this is where we're already having this divide, where one is trying to develop things for the nation, for, the division, because on paper, this is supposed to be like a fail-safe for the country. In case that something were to happen, real world, you'd have this entire agency undercover activated, which the division was, and have all of the tech and things they need before these events actually take place. Let's keep going. Next is called security.
Now, I have big plans for this system of yours.
That's excellent, Cal.
If I wanted to utilize your system for 3 organizations, would I need to wear 3 of those watches and 3 of those bricks, or could you put all 3 on a single unit for me?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I'm looking at your technology, and I see other organizations who could benefit from these tools. The NSA is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to intelligence and security. I have other, more obscure teams at my disposal who could utilize this technology. It would increase my order tenfold and give you and the missus plenty of seed money to play around with.
More private contractors?
Not at all. Homeland Security. Strictly homeland and governmental entities.
And they all fall under your purview?
Of course. I am the secretary.
If you're looking for a more discrete single unit, we could house all 3 on a single system, and you decide which system you want to access through the interface.
Can you get rid of the brick for me?
For just you, or for you and all the field agents?
Just me. I think it's helpful to have the identification on the back. The wrist can be a little hard to see, but that beacon of hope in the dark illuminating your face, there's something heroic about that.
I mean, essentially, we're just learning about the Anna network and the hunters at this point, because he does have a more discreet team, and it's going to be double agents who monitor division agents and help enforce whatever, Calvin McManus needs. Next up, it's called ISAC. Here we go.
Hostile detected. Hostile eliminated. Hostile detected. Hostile eliminated. What do you think?
I think this is a waste of time.
It's just for the field test. I promise. If the results come back and they prefer Anna, we can delete Isaac.
If we were just going to delete it all, I don't see the point in wasting time building an entirely separate AI. We could be investing this time in refining Anna instead of building a superfluous backup.
They've requested a more impersonal AI for the field test.
Did they request it, or did you ask them to request it?
You know how they are.
Fine, but Isaac is not going to be as smart or independent as Anna. I don't have time to do all that reprogramming and recording. He will have to be very binary in his morality. If you're fine with an AI that doesn't get nuance, I'll add him as an option.
I think the users will feel more comfortable with a less human-sounding AI. Anna can be a little much.
You're a little much.
I don't like how human she is sometimes.
Hostile detected. Recommendation, eliminate or sedate. She's hilarious, and she gives you choices. You're telling me you would rather have direct orders from an AI than operational choice?
I'm telling you, I don't think people are ready for an AI that can pass the Turing test.
And right here we have all of the details we need about the different systems. So Isaac is going to be a watered down version of Anna. Anna is going to be the more superior AI to everything. And then the Black Tusk AI, Diamond, is more of a friendly user, operator-based AI, where the other ones are, talking to you and helping you in all of these different ways. The Black Tusk Diamond, it's more input-based. Next up, we have Alert.
Sir, I wanted to follow up over about that.
So, all right. So before we start with alert, all right, the first 7 comms were all related. It starts a different timeline now. So with alert, this NSA agent. Remember, Calvin McManus is the security. He's our secretary. He's a part of the U.S. government. He's in control of the NSA and basically, blacklisted budgets. With that being said, he also was talking to Ortiz about being able to monitor any of the 3 systems. That he wanted to be able to have access to all of the systems if he wanted to, just for security reasons. Now, this kind of goes into the security reasons. He has the NSA monitor people with their watches and monitor people without them knowing. So here's a little bit of that with Calvin McManus. Now remember, Calvin McManus is also the same guy who basically developed the Hunters and developed, the Shade Network, the Division. But he's obviously a bad guy, and here's a little insight on that.
Sir, I wanted to follow up about that professor in New York.
What professor?
Amherst. His student was trying to seduce him.
So, did he sleep with her?
No, sir.
So your update is there is no update.
Not exactly.
I don't care about some college professor. Is there a problem with the ISAC system?
No, the comms are still coming in. There's still too much data to sort through, but I think we might want to take a closer look at this professor.
Is he sleeping with a different student?
No, sir. He's been giving lectures about viruses resetting the world to curb climate change.
So, kook.
Or dangerous expert in virology who could help nature along.
All right. So right there, the NSA analyst is basically monitoring Amherst. Amherst was the professor in the first game that developed the green poison virus, basically. I don't remember the full time or the full, background story on Amherst, but I remember in the first game you even had a mission called Amherst's Apartment, where you had to go and investigate and get more insight on what actually happened with Amherst and this virus. So it seems right there, Calvin McManus said, is there a problem with ISAC? Because what's happening right here is he's monitoring everybody through their watches and through the ISAC system. And like that NSA analyst said, there is too much information to sort through. There is way too much data coming in, and it's hard to siphon through it. So she's focusing on Amherst and this talk about, viruses and a new threat. Next up, we have new tech. Now, this goes back with Natalia Sokolova, so here we go.
Honest opinion, Matthias.
It's ambitious. The surveillance technology and capabilities are a clear advantage for both the NSA and the Black Tusk.
Any downsides?
Honestly, I don't know how secure their network is. It would be very easy for them to cut corners and have everything funnel into a central repository. Without doing an on-site appraisal of their servers and security, I would expect other users on the same network could access your comms and intel.
That's very helpful.
I aim to please.
We should speak more after this.
Personal or professional?
Professional.
What's your favorite geometric shape?
A diamond.
Interesting. You know you can tell a lot about a person by their favorite shape.
What's yours?
Technically, it's a plane curve.
Parabola?
Yeah, that's... You're not what I expected, Miss Sokolova.
Now, right here, that is trig. In the comm description, it says they discuss new technology with an independent expert, Matthias Schneider. This is trig, and he was one of the manhunt targets. Now, during that manhunt, you learn that he was prior U.S. military, and then he went into the Black Tusk. And right there is pretty evident that he ends up joining forces with Natalia Sokolova because he thinks she's a BAMF. I mean, come on. So right there was kind of the start to building Black Tusk. Next, we have walking, and this is more about the black tusk.
Why would I want that?
If they can walk on 2 legs instead of 4, they could be more agile and fit through tighter spaces.
Sure, I can see a use case for that.
So we're approved?
How much is this going to cost me?
Not much. We could even tack this onto the R&D budget you've already approved. Claire's really excited about the prospects.
So, this is to make your wife happy.
You know what they say? Happy wife, happy life.
No one who is really happy says that.
Oh, dang. Now, I think I said earlier that a husband and wife, it's actually, or a brother and sister, they're husband and wife. Now, the funny thing about this was he was trying to sell her two-legged DARPA dogs, basically. So he wanted the DARPA dogs, instead of running around on all 4, he wanted them on upright with 2 arms and 2 legs. Now, he was trying to sell this as, the DARPA dogs could go, a little bit further. They could go into tight spaces. They could be more agile. But in reality, thinking about, really heavy equipment on 2 legs, trying to wobble, they would easily, be compromised. And we'll learn more about that here in just a second with new AI.
I see the value for Cal and his teams, but I don't really see the value in an AI handler for my organization. If your operatives are left alone in the field, my operatives would never be left alone in the field. In a perfect world, yes, but we do not live in a perfect world. Go on. If an operative is alone in the field, our AI can take over robotics automation to maintain perimeter defenses. And the likelihood of a friendly fire casualties? Next to 0. How does the AI detect friendlies? Biometrics and personalized ID. The watches. And the bricks. They're a bit bulky. Any chance of miniaturization or combining both the receiver and the interface?
Not in this generation. We are working on combining the 2 pieces into a single unit, but it would require a larger interface to house both components and will be exponentially more expensive.
Expense is not an issue for me.
I think we'll stick with the more cost-effective and tested methods. Watches and bricks.
All right, we're getting more information. Let's keep it going. Collaboration.
I'd like you to meet Natalia Sokolova.
Nice to meet you, Miss Sokolova. Cal says he wants us to work together. I think he's just trying to use my budget to expand his little experiment. Is your organization using the Ortiz robotics tech? Yes. You're not worried about the potential security breaches? With ISAC? Yes. We're not using ISAC. We're using the system agnostic from the AI. Are you sure? That's what Alex told me. Did Claire confirm it? No. If you don't mind, I'd like to do a security protocols check on your version of their systems. I believe there may be a major exploit that could be a matter of national security. Well, I don't belong to any one nation. My enterprise is global. Then there is a potential exploit to your global security. Everything is locked on a biometric server. If you can access my system, I may have a job for you. Or I may need to re-evaluate whether or not to eliminate Alex from my future endeavors.
Nice. So basically, this is how she's able to recruit people to her organization, being the Black Tusk and the White Tusk, where she finds people that have expertise that benefit her, and then she brings them on board. Now, going further, we have a field agent. Here we go. This is one of the first ever division agents.
How did the field test go?
The one in Manhattan or South America?
South America.
Good. We've infiltrated the cartel and believe we should have a basic outline of their infrastructure in a month.
Excellent.
The tech is excellent for intel and infiltration. I'm still concerned about the legalities when it comes to civilian privacy.
The Manhattan field tests?
Yes. They've spread beyond Manhattan.
How far beyond Manhattan?
Some of the people at the theater were tourists visiting from out of state and abroad.
Are you still getting new reports from their phones?
Yes.
All of them? Are there any outliers?
One person in the UK did a security update and we lost the feed. Other than that, everyone in the theater is still active, and the records are being uploaded to ISAC's database daily at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Let me know if anything changes.
What are we doing here, sir?
Testing a new security tool. Nothing more, nothing less.
I mean, right here we're basically getting the first like remnants of rogue agents where he's using the tech and AI system for evil. He is honing in on everyone that was in one theater, and what he did is he used the ISAC system to hack into all of their devices. And then as soon as they left the theater, he had access to all of their everything. He's able to listen to them, he's able to access whatever they're doing. And like the NSA analyst said, until they update their systems, they can keep monitoring them no matter what. So it's basically like once Isaac comes in contact with your device, he can forever have control of it until you update your system. Moving on, we have terminated.
I hope you understand.
Now, this part, this is yet another timeline. So, as of right now, our timelines are Ortiz, the husband and wife organization, is building the 3 different AI systems. We have talked about all of these comms are before the green poison. Now, what's happening is Natalia is building up the Black Tusk, Calvin McManus is building up the Division and the Hunters, and Ortiz is trying to make as much money and profit as humanly possible. Now, going a little bit closer into Ortiz, we have Vivian Conley. She was the main boss and rogue agent in Warlords of New York, and she is introduced as a employee of Ortiz Robotics. So here we go.
I hope you understand.
That you're not interested in renewing my contract. Sure. I understand.
And that all the design work that you have created during your tenure here is now property of Ortiz Robotics.
You own everything you don't want that sucks and is broken. Goody for you.
We own all of the designs, so if elements of your designs are repurposed and used in any other application, you have no intellectual property ownership or claim to any designs that you have worked on during your time at Ortiz Robotics.
Okay.
This is not exclusive to designs you've submitted for review. This includes designs that you've developed in the last 6 months on any Ortiz Robotics equipment or on its properties.
What do you mean its properties?
Well, since you were living in corporate housing, anything you created in the apartment is also property of Ortiz Robotics.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I wish I was. You really should have read your contract thoroughly before signing it. If you have an issue with this, you could have avoided the clause in Section 9 or found off-campus housing.
With what you pay me, off-campus would have meant West Virginia.
We wish you great luck in the future and look forward to seeing what you do next. Thank you for all your contributions to Ortiz Robotics.
Sure.
We're gonna need that watch back. I don't even know where you got one of those.
Oh, this? This was a gift from Cal. Pretty sure this belongs to me.
All right. And there you have it. So, Vivian Conley, her origin is that she worked for Ortiz Robotics. She was developing all of these things that included Warhounds with flamethrowers, towers with flamethrowers, basically any sort of pyrotechnics, they were coming from her. And Ortiz was basically like, hey, we're going to have to let you go. And all of those ideas are now ours. See ya. And come to find out that she was basically working both ends because Calvin McManus is able to monitor everyone with a watch. And with her working for Ortiz and having that watch, it's pretty, plain to see that she was already doing rogue agent things, working for Ortiz and even inadvertently maybe spying on them with her Shade Watch. Next up, we have hostile elements.
Spend the minimal amount to get this prototype shipped. I'm working on a ballistic simulation to test the accuracy and effectiveness of the Warhounds. Simulation? Yes. Since we can't test these prototypes in the open, we have created an augmented reality simulation. complete with real-time data on the effects of your gear and tech on hostile elements. And who are these hostile elements? Operators who we trust and have volunteered to be digital cannon fodder for your Warhounds as a training exercise. The suits we have designed will track all their biometrics, and the data we gather from them will be invaluable. Did Cal put you up to this?
Now, right here, this is where we get our first sound or our first look at the Descent game mode, where it is a training simulation that not only tests Natalia's diamond with all of the black tusk, but it also tests the division agents from Calvin McManus. Now, let's keep going down that road. Here we go.
We can't afford this.
Put it on Sokolova's tab. She's got the money for it.
You can't keep putting Cal's R&D on the Black Tusk budget.
Why not?
Well, this isn't for her tech. She doesn't want the AI. She doesn't want Isaac.
She doesn't want untested tech either.
Are you going to give the operators Warhounds?
Of course not. But I am going to let them know what it feels like to fight one.
You're going to make the Black Tusk tech part of the field test?
Yes. We will field test her tech and gear as the AI-generated hostile force and get real-time assessment of how the operator reacts. That testing is for Black Tusk and goes on their budget.
And there you have it. So what I just said was just proved. So what they were doing with Descent is they were testing both techs at the same time to gather the information they needed, but they were putting it all on the Black Tusk budget. Let's keep going.
We can't test the system in the open, so we need to come up with a way to simulate battle conditions.
What kind of simulation?
One that is as realistic as possible for our operators.
You mean like a VR simulation?
No. Augmented reality, but more realistic.
Well, that should be easy enough with the contact lens.
Yes, but I want them to feel the hits. If it's just the visual, we won't be able to assess the real stress and pressure on the body. They are talking about giving Isaac to gym teachers in Missoula. I want to know how they would react in a real combat situation.
You want them to feel pain?
Yes. People in pain will react in unpredictable and dangerous ways. I want to know what these ops will do when they are really in pain and afraid before I give them live rounds.
And this just further explains why they developed the Descent simulation. And this also explains why in the opening shots or the trailer for Descent, whenever they first released it, the agents had green eyes. And that's because of these contacts that are linked to the simulation. And here we go. So now we're jumping around again. So those were all just about Descent. Now we're going back to Calvin McManus and his NSA analyst. Let's check this out.
How is the testing going?
Impressive and horrifying.
Care to expand on that analysis?
Well, I went to a play last night, and every member of the theater's phones are now in the database, giving continuous wiretaps and uploading their text and voicemail histories along with online searches and social media profiles.
So, a success.
If you think wading through millions of hours of new data is a success, sure.
It doesn't filter?
Oh, it filters. But it's arbitrary, and it only tells you what it thinks is relevant.
What's the problem?
Well, there was a college student at the play last night. She has a crush on her professor. Was talking about how she was going to have a one-on-one with him today and was going to try and seduce him.
Any red flags on the professor?
Just some egomaniacal adjunct at Cooper Union.
What does he teach?
Science. Virology. Has been doing lectures about climate change, human interference, and how if we aren't careful, viruses will evolve to solve the problems for us.
Sounds like a kook. Is he dangerous?
Everyone is dangerous, but this is just invasive. We aren't tracking him, we're tracking a student.
Well, sometimes we need non-criminal informants. Let me know how the meeting goes.
I don't want to listen to a young girl seduce her professor.
If she succeeds, we can send an anonymous tip to the college administration.
I didn't join the NSA to tattle on dirty old men to the admissions board.
We save the lives in front of us. You can get a predator off the streets. It's not as glamorous as taking down an international cartel, but it's still the job. Do the job.
So this was kind of like a prequel to the comms we got earlier from the NSA analyst and Calvin McManus, because the comms earlier stated, "Hey, the Manhattan Project went as as intended. It was a success. We're able to monitor everyone's phones from the theater." And that comm actually explained who did it. It was that NSA analyst who went to the theater and hacked everyone's systems. She's obviously carrying a lot of guilt, and Calvin McManus is trying to just keep pushing her along and explaining, hey, this is for the bigger picture type of deal. Let's continue.
Sir, we need to talk about Gordon Amherst.
Did he finally sleep with his student, or did he build a biological weapon the world has never seen before?
He did not sleep with his student, and I can't confirm whether or not he is working on a biological weapon.
You can't confirm whether or not he is working on a biological weapon?
That's correct, sir.
Is he working on a biological weapon?
I cannot confirm that, sir.
So he's not working on a biological weapon and is just a kook?
I cannot confirm that, sir.
Has anyone ever told you you can be really annoying and obtuse?
Yes, sir. That's why I'm an analyst and not a field operative, sir.
Okay, so you're obsessed with Gordon Amherst and believe he may be a threat to national security, but can't prove that, and all you have to go on is some rants about climate change?
And his association with Vitaly Chernenko.
Vitaly... what now?
Chernenko, Russian virologist who specializes in 3D printing.
My nephew is into 3D printing. Why do we care about grown men who make plastic miniatures?
We don't. But we should care about grown men who can manufacture viruses.
Oh, snap. And that was like a mic drop moment right there. So she's continuously monitoring this professor, and she keeps telling him, like, hey, this is going to end up being a threat. Hey, this is going to end up being a threat. And come to find out, this was how the whole green poison and everything was released. So she was right the whole time. Let's keep... Oh, it's going to jump over now. Okay. So those were more NSA analysts and Calvin McManus interactions about how they're tracking everybody through ISAC. And now we're going to jump back to Ortiz and Trigg. Now remember, Trigg was the outside source, the independent contractor or analyst to search through the systems that ISAC, Anna, and Diamond are all related to and try to see if there are any weaknesses or vulnerabilities. So that was his deal with Natalia and Calvin McManus. Now, we all know that he then goes and works for Natalia and becomes one of the manhunt targets. But let's see what he says with Claire here. Here we go.
Trig, I need a favor.
Anything for my favorite evil genius.
I'm not evil.
Just a genius.
What do you expect from a trapezoid?
God, I love your sense of humor. What do you need?
Need you to do a field test on those new Warhounds for Nat.
Already did. Aside from the creepy biped action, they're working great.
I want you to run the test again with Anna.
You know Nat doesn't want the AI.
She wants the guidance system. How does she expect the Warhound's guidance system to operate independently without an AI?
Fine, but if she hates it, you can remove Anna, right? She's not just gonna slip in there and corrupt or rewrite the code or anything like that, right?
Of course not. She's just here to collect data. She's not a person, Trey. She's not even a shape. Just a series of ones and zeros. Don't be paranoid. It's not like she could augment reality and murder the operators.
Nice. But here is the catch. She's convincing Trigg, who is working for Natalia, to install Anna into those Warhounds. And this is how the hunters, and this is how, anyone under Calvin McManus can take out the Diamond Network. And it's because Anna controls it. So Anna can shut it down. Same with Anna and ISAC. ISAC is just a watered down version of Anna, and they all share the same networks. So Anna, being the more superior AI, it can take over both ISAC and Diamond. Let's continue. Now this is with Calvin McManus with the NSA. Here we go.
abandon the site.
What site?
The detention center.
What's happening?
Confirmed contamination.
What kind of contamination?
Chimera.
Not the shit in New York.
Affirmative.
How the hell did it get here?
Asymptomatic carrier. She was in New York before being arrested at the mall.
One of the protesters? I knew we shouldn't have let DCPD use our detention center.
No, this was one of ours. Eco-terrorist was arrested trying to light a Christmas tree on fire.
We stopped that attack in New York before all of this happened.
The same group tried again in D.C. a week later. ISAC intercepted their comms.
At least that's working.
We need more space. We need to quarantine the staff from the detention center and move our operations from the data center. It's too risky to stay here long term.
Report to the testing facility. We'll set up a quarantine.
I'll let the teams know.
Give me a day to get it all set up. In the meantime, isolate and see if we can find a way to rapid test for infected.
We don't need a rapid test.
Since when?
ISAC can detect viral loads.
Well, that's not terrifying.
Infected need to be separated. We don't know what the recovery rate is. Infected doesn't mean dying. And we can study the asymptomatic carriers, maybe use their blood to find a vaccine. We could get ahead of this thing.
You're a virologist now?
No, but Amherst is.
The college professor?
Yeah, the not a viable threat. He made this. If we can get into his apartment or office, we might be able to reverse engineer this bullshit he created. Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to swear. I'm just very tired.
It's fine. We all are. Get everyone packed and ready and bring whatever you need to the facility to continue working on containing this thing.
Thank you, sir.
So this is right after the start of the division, where the green poison has already been released and asymptomatic carriers are now bringing them, across the country. And, well, the first stop, DC. Obviously, that's why we're here. Now, let's go back to Ortiz Robotics. I mean, you're already starting to see the pattern with these storylines. And they all somehow work together. And you'll see why.
Okay, Cal, your boys are outfitted in the latest tech. This is a state-of-the-art simulation using augmented reality to provide your operators a realistic combat experience without having to leave the comfort and safety of the facility and protecting your investment from prying eyes.
You don't have to sell me on the pitch. I already agreed to the test. Agents, are you ready?
Alpha, ready, sir.
Bravo ready. Good to see you again, Alex.
Vivian,
Okay. Let's get this test of yours underway.
your objective is to utilize the mobile shade server to access intel and utilize your shade tech to infiltrate the bunker.
Copy that.
This is gonna be fun. Oh, look. You did use my fire turret after all.
Only for the simulation. They are not suitable for the field, Viv.
Good to know it wasn't completely wasted work. And hey, nice to confirm you can actually follow design directions. Nicely done, Alex.
Dang. All right. So that had a few things in it. First one, Vivian Conley, obviously stranded tanker, is now a rogue agent. But in this part, she's a division agent under Calvin McManus. Now, remember, Aaron Keener, part of the first wave, all of these were division agents who then turned rogue. So this is beforehand, and this is Vivian and Johnson. Remember, Johnson, I believe that is the recruiter hunter, right? He went from rogue agent, Black Tusk, to hunter. Yeah, that's crazy. So we have both of them testing Descent for the very first time, and that's where Vivian Conley finds some of her pyrotechnic designs in play. And let's keep it going. This is called Mobile Notes.
What did he say?
That farmers wouldn't have a leather briefcase?
Does he want me to make it look like a toolbox instead?
No, just make the outside metal and remove the insignia. Have the phoenix on the loading screen.
Huh. Those are actually good notes.
I thought so too.
Might be easier to waterproof, and definitely will be easier to conceal with other metal objects than making a farmer seem like a lawyer.
I think we could get him to sign off on production if he could see it in action.
A field test to prove the usage.
Exactly.
In the simulation room or in the field?
Simulation is safer. It's easier to control the variables to get the desired outcome.
Set it up.
Nice. And that was just a continuation for the initial plans of the shade beacons. And those are the briefcases that you see throughout the campaigns and the cutscenes, even to the latest cutscene leading to the DLC, where Aaron Keener is constantly either picking up or carrying a briefcase. Next is called Trap.
What's the point of this? Mobile medical support. Nanotechnology deployed to do field triage. Exactly. We equipped the Warhound with one of these deployable medical support stations. They drop the station into a combat area and the nanotech goes to work, assessing the status of your operators in the field. They can cauterize wounds, administer small doses of adrenaline or combat cocktails, deploy expanding foam to stem bleeding. And you've built the nanobots for this? They are still theoretical, but the deployment mechanism is real.
We have the ones that deliver the expanding foam, but they are one-time use, and they can't fly back to the flytrap and be picked up by the Warhound.
Flytrap? That's what Alex has been calling the device that houses the nanotech. Clever.
Thank you.
This is promising. Let me know when the traps are fully operational.
Now, these traps sound a lot like hives that we use on our characters right now, but it sounds like a prototype Warhound that could also drop a hive, pick it up, and move around. I mean, it kind of sounds a lot like the Buddy Lucy in the Dark Hours raid. Next up, we have Deployed with Calvin McManus.
Mobile shade servers have been delivered to all rural outposts, and the next shipment is due to roll off the assembly line next month. They will be installed at central hubs in all major metropolitan areas.
You don't think that's overkill?
It's a Band-Aid. You can never have enough Band-Aids in a war zone.
Are you expecting us to be at war soon?
I expect that Nat wouldn't be ordering so many Warhounds if she didn't need them, and if she's getting ready for war, we should be too.
Understood.
Nice. Now, that one was short and sweet. Basically, they're setting up shade beacons throughout the entire country in both rural areas and urban areas. And he's also letting Calvin McManus know that Natalia has a whole bunch of Warhounds on order. Next one is called Release with Ortiz Robotics.
Your AI just got one of my agents killed.
Hello, Cal. Nice to hear your voice. How is New York?
Alex,
What happened?
one of my agents broke into a pharmacy to get painkillers and bandages for a gunshot wound, and your AI marked her rogue, killed her turret, and left her defenseless.
I'm sorry to hear that.
She should have used a key.
I thought your AI was supposed to be smart.
My AI is smart. Isaac leaves much to be desired.
I can't have my agents left defenseless because Isaac is a Boy Scout.
We have a workaround.
Then do it.
If I allow your agents to have full access to the system, even if they go rogue, you know what this means, right?
Yes,
Do you also want me to activate Stage 1 of the Hunter Protocol?
that's the failsafe.
Stage 1 only allows you to activate individuals on a case-by-case basis. If you want them all online, we have to move to Stage 3.
I remember. Individual, regional, national.
That's correct.
Just do it. This was never supposed to happen.
It wasn't, but I'm glad we're ready just in case.
You weren't ready. This is a shit show.
This is food poisoning. Just stay hydrated and pray this whole thing blows over in a couple of days.
I don't need the sales pitch right now, Alex. I need your tech to do its fucking job.
Okay, it's done. Rogue agents now have access to their tech, and if one of them becomes a problem, you can activate a hunter to dispatch of said problem.
Thank you, Claire. I'm sorry I yelled. This was not where I had planned to be when this all went down.
No one expects to be at ground zero. But once you're there, you either adapt or die. Lucky for you, you've got an army to get through before you die.
That's not as comforting as you think, Claire.
If you need anything else, we'll be in the bunker. At least those systems are working fine. Thank Birdie for the power solutions. The defense systems are really impressive now that the power is stable.
Okay, a few things there. Birdie, that's a callback to the character, a part of the recruiter manhunt. Birdie helps us take over Natalia's system and defeat the recruiter. Another thing in there, so basically, right then and there, Ortiz enables the option of going rogue. However, because they enabled the option of going rogue, they then started stage one of the Hunter protocol as a failsafe. So basically, what this means is ISAC can let everyone know who's a shade agent and who's a rogue agent. Now, if they were to get a rogue agent, then Calvin McManus would sick a hunter on them. So basically, the hunters were the good guys. The hunters were initially a part of the division, but it was a small group that would then take out rogue agents if needed. This is pretty cool. Next up, we have field test.
The holograms are not working as intended. We need a more stable power source.
Cal says he's working on it.
I really hope that doesn't mean what I think it means.
You knew that we would need to bring in additional funding and consultants.
But not him. I can't work with him.
I know, but if you want to get the new system into production, we need their help. Cal promised you can work directly with Birdie. You won't have to see Vic at all.
I can work with Birdie.
Other than the power supply, any other red flags from the field test?
Concerned the AI might be too sensitive and quick to marking the user off mission and removing access to the tech.
Is there an easy win there?
Yeah, we mark them off mission, but don't kill their access. We alert other users to a potential threat, but in case the AI is just being touchy, we allow the user to still have access to their tech.
Visual and auditory alert?
Yeah. We'll change their UI to red, and ISAC will detect the status change and alert surrounding users. Will suck for people who are colorblind or in certain lighting conditions, but the voice backup should alleviate that issue a bit. It's not perfect, but it's better than killing someone's tech in the middle of a firefight because you accidentally shot a friendly or broke a door lock to get to cover. ISAC can be a little didactic in his morality. This is why I prefer Anna.
So that is basically Ortiz Robotics trying to figure out how going rogue would work. And they decided, okay, it'll change your bar to red, it'll let everyone know that you went rogue, and it'll have a voice activation thing telling you went rogue. You'll still be able to use your tech, but everyone else is going to know you might be a bad guy. Pretty cool. So we just learned how the hunters came to be, and we just learned how becoming a rogue agent came to be. Next is called automation. Here we go.
Thank you for organizing the testing facility and granting access to Birdie. She really does have a brilliant mind for this kind of work.
Happy to be of service.
I'm honestly surprised how hands-on you are with this project.
When only a handful of people have the clearance to support it, you have to hold more hands.
My hope is to make that a little easier for you.
Oh?
I'm working on a new program that will completely automate the simulation and training for your operatives, and make it easier for Birdie to do her work independently.
Anything you can do to make this project go smoother with fewer hands on deck, the better. And whenever you finish those upgrades Nat is paying for, I would be happy to inherit any of her old and surplus toys.
Nice. So Calvin McManus knows that he's getting not only her scraps for free, but he's also getting a lot of tech and a lot of research done on her dime. It's a whole game and it's hilarious. Now, other things to note, Birdie is at the castle settlement right now, and Vic is also at the castle settlement right now. We had to rescue Vic from from Natalia a few seasons back. And then we gained Birdie from Natalia during the recruiter mission. Pretty cool. Next up, we have Firebrand notes. So let's go ahead and hit that one. This one is going back to Vivian Conley. Remember, Vivian Conley was the rogue agent boss for Stranded Tanker during Warlords of New York. She was also a previous employee to Ortiz Robotics, and she was also a division agent testing Descent. Here we go. Firebrand notes.
How did it go?
Terrible. They hated my idea.
Oh, don't worry. It's not just you. They hate all ideas except their own.
Birdie?
Birdie doesn't count. She's like some kind of savant or something, and honestly, I think she's just so birdie that it's easier to get out of her way and let her do whatever crazy-ass thing is in her head.
It's not fair.
No, it's not fair. But a lot of things aren't fair.
It's a solid idea, but I need their money to build the prototype.
What's the pitch?
Terrestrial firebomb.
Why?
Original concept. To deploy into forest fires to do controlled burns so that we don't have to use a smoke jumper.
That's a good idea. But too philanthropic for this bunch. Find a combat application, and maybe.
I gave them a combat application, but they said it was too war crimey. They've got automated drones. How is this any more war crimey than the shit they already have in development?
It was their idea, so of course it's beyond reproach.
Ugh, I hate rich people.
So basically, at this point, Vivian is a division agent, ex-Ortiz Robotics employee, and all of her plans are not coming to be, and she's just wondering why. Now, the firebomb idea was pretty cool, but I also agree, trying to use that in like a combat situation just out of the blue, it's like very Joe Farrow, like, yeah, it is war crimey, isn't it? Kind of crazy. And that's probably why Vivian Conley was a part of that stranded tanker. All right, here we go with Anna. Okay, here we go.
Trust me, Cal will buy if we use Isaac.
What's the problem with Anna?
He's a good old boy. You saw how the subjects responded to the prototype?
Openly hostile towards having the female AI tell them what to do. Yeah, I remember. It's ridiculous and sexist and utterly disgusting.
It is. But we know that, and if we want to keep funding the development of the tech, we need to secure this contract. And Isaac will secure the deal.
You only like him because he's you.
And you prefer Anna because she's you.
Now, of course, they're only saying that because their voices were actually used for those AI systems, where Claire's voice is Anna and his voice, obviously, is Isaac. Moving on down, we're getting down the list, slowly but surely. Next up, we have testing with Calvin McManus and that NSA agent.
I want you to equip all our personnel with this new Ortiz tech.
You mean the operatives in the field?
No. I want you to equip all our personnel.
You don't think that's an invasion of privacy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The new Isaac tech is supposed to be able to access and data mine all surveillance equipment and recording devices it comes into contact with.
Yes.
Our personnel are often in civilian spaces, like restaurants and banks and theaters. If they're wearing this tech, anyone they come into contact with will have their data uploaded to Isaac's system if it actually does what they promise.
Exactly.
You don't believe the tech works as intended?
I don't believe and trust in the word of a salesman who barely graduated. I don't want to trust in a belief. I want to see test results that confirm if it's snake oil they're selling. If it's bullshit, I want to know.
Will you cancel the contract if we find the tech doesn't work?
Of course not. If I don't spend my budget, I lose my budget. Got to keep the wheels of Congress greased and ready to fund the new future of warfare.
You mean security?
Yes, security. If we have this tech, it's only a matter of time before enemies do. Honestly, I hope it's bullshit. Otherwise, all our secrets will be for sale to the highest bidder, and the government's pockets are not that deep.
I understand that fully. So you have to use that budget or you lose that budget. And I also understand him trying to test it out in the field, but this is a very radical approach, obviously. He's giving Isaac to all the NSA personnel, and everyone they come in contact with get uploaded to Isaac. It's a huge invasion of privacy, obviously. Next up, we have assessment with the NSA agent and Calvin McManus.
Sir, I really think we should take a closer look at Amherst.
I've already given local Leos a heads up. They've investigated and cleared him.
I'm looking at his online activity.
Do you have a warrant to monitor him?
No.
How do you have access to his online activity? Are you hacking him?
No, of course not. It's the Isaac servers.
Fruit from the poison tree.
Since when do you care where the fruit comes from?
Waller's trying to crack down on privacy protections, getting ready for re-elections, and cybersecurity is a hot topic.
So we are just supposed to ignore an active threat for politics?
We're supposed to serve at the pleasure of the president. If we want to continue to serve this president, we need to follow his lead.
Understood, sir. I will try to find some non-poisonous fruit on Amherst.
Not much that I need to break down there. Let's keep going.
We only have one team operational ready in New York.
Prioritize the tree.
Sir, I really think you should reconsider. We should focus our efforts on Amherst.
He's a theoretical threat. The eco-terrorists have been clear about their target.
Local Leos can handle them. There's no reason to send our team to intercept.
This is the priority. If you can't support that, I will put in your transfer to the Roswell office myself.
Understood. I will order all units to report to the tree lighting ceremony.
Stop worrying about Amherst. He lives in a fantasy of his own making. He's not a threat.
I hope you're right, sir.
Just building the narrative that this NSA analyst was correct the whole time and Calvin McManus was just not buying it. More from the NSA analyst. This one is called Hindsight.
I fucking told him. Told who what? Fucking Cal, that motherfucker McManus. Okay, you're gonna have to take a breath. I warned him about Amherst and he sent us after a fucking Christmas tree. Okay, you've lost me. We could have stopped what was happening. What's happening? You're kidding, right? No. The outbreak. That mystery flu that's going around. They haven't briefed you? Why would anyone brief me? Ortiz hasn't told you anything? I don't work with them anymore. Division hasn't briefed you? I don't know what you're talking about. Viv, I'm not a fucking idiot. I've seen your watch. I know you're one of them. You were here for the simulation training. So much for super secret society of elite agents that no one knows about. Where the hell do you think your tech came from? DARPA? You're not wrong. But Viv, we're fucked. This was an attack. This was engineered. Your elite plainclothes average person turned last great hope bullshit experiment that was never supposed to be activated is about to get activated, and it's all my fault. It's not your fault. I knew we should have gone after Amherst, and we didn't. I followed orders, and I made sure my team focused on the wrong thing. We were so busy trying to save Christmas, we destroyed the world. That's a little extreme, even for you. I should have stood up to him. Who? Cal? He's too well connected. You did the right thing. He will take the hit for this, not you. No, he won't. Guys like that are untouchable. They never pay the price for their fuck-ups. Everyone else will burn before he gets a paper cut. He'll probably find a way to get a promotion out of this. Newest Secretary of Defense. Or President. I'd rather move to Sweden. Could you imagine? President Calvin McManus. That would really be the end of the world.
Which is crazy, but that's actually coming to be. Because he's the only one left. We have had the president, the vice president, all of them were taken out. So he is actually one of the last ones standing, and he might be president come the DLC or Division 3. But this also shows that the NSA analyst was very close to Vivian Conley. And yeah, this is right after the outbreak, and Vivian is still a Division agent. And it's looking like the NSA analyst is just a NSA analyst. Next up, we have version 2. This is going back to the Firebrand one for Vivian Conley. All of her fire stuff with Ortiz.
It's a pass. You haven't even seen what she can do yet. Is it more fire? Yes. We aren't interested. Why not? The increased temperature overloads the cooling system and fries the motherboard. So yeah, no fire. We can insulate the unit. We tried that with your last experiment. It never went into proof of concept. You never went into proof of concept. I tested your designs myself. The theory doesn't hold up in practical applications. Then you didn't follow my design. Or maybe your design is flawed.
Damn! Shots fired! Bop, 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 bop! Yeah, they don't want fire, Vivian. Come on. All right, next up we have a question from Calvin McManus.
How can I help you, sir?
How difficult would it be to retrofit the facility to a testing facility for the new Ortiz robotics tech?
It would heavily depend on the kind of test you were looking to perform.
Field test new defensive equipment in a simulated battlefield, urban, or CQB environment.
Live rounds and munitions?
Not necessarily, depending on how realistic the simulation is.
Do you need us to run field tests or a simulation?
Both.
We have several open-air facilities that could support the kind of tests you're talking about.
We need to be underground. We can't run this like SEALs training. This team is beyond classified.
Okay, well, if you're looking for discretion, the facility should be able to handle the request. They may need time to retrofit some of the ballistic shielding and build some training facilities.
How much time?
Depends on how realistic you want your simulation to be, and how much needs to be practical or virtual effects.
Nice. And they're basically building the descent simulation. All right, next up we have backup. And this is with Vivian Conley again with Ortiz.
They can't kill Anna. They won't. You put Isaac together in a week. There is no way he's as sophisticated as her. What the fuck are they thinking? That you just changed the voice and everything else is the same. But that's not what you did. That's not how the systems are built. I know that. You know that. No one else seems to give a shit about what is reality. As long as Isaac hits the mark and says his line, everything will be fine. This is like that time they released an AI on social media, and it went from a manic pixie dream girl into a flat earth climate change Holocaust-denying Nazi in 24 hours. It's not that bad. Isaac will not challenge people, but he also won't prioritize the intel the same way as Anna. They aren't the same. Isaac will serve his purpose, but it's not the same. You can't let them kill her. She's still there, lurking beneath the code. Dormant and saved on the mobile shade server.
Oh, snap. And that is evidence that Anna is in Isaac. So now we know that Clair Ortiz inserted Anna into Isaac and Diamond. So that's how the hunters are able to control the Shade agents and the Black Tusk. Pretty cool. Another thing here, they know that Isaac is a watered down, crappier version of Anna. However, everyone else just thinks that she changed the name or the name and the voice, right? So she has Anna embedded into Isaac to take over at her, call. This is pretty good stuff. Moving on, we have Secure with Ortiz Robotics.
Cal,
What do you want, Alex?
we love the new toys you've asked us to test with Isaac.
But? Oh, I can sense a butt is coming.
We need to do some field tests.
And your offices at DARPA are ill-equipped to handle such a task?
That's correct.
What do you need from me?
We need a private facility with limited access and no external eyes that may question the functionality of the drones and turrets we are testing.
So you need a secure ballistics testing site, is that it?
I'd prefer an underground football field, but beggars can't be choosers.
Nice. So that's initially where the concept came to be for Calvin McManus looking for a underground facility. So Ortiz went to Cal went to the analysts, and then they started to build the descent facility. Pretty cool. Next up, we have upgrades. And this is Vivian Conley, again, with Ortiz.
I hope you like the modifications I made to the water cannon.
Impressive.
These can, of course, be series together with motion sensors to create an automated defense system.
Too bad they aren't flamethrowers.
That's actually a very simple modification. We just add an accelerant and ignition source, a little insulation on the feed tube, and we're good to go.
I like the way you think.
Thank you, sir.
Hope you like the watch.
Thank you, sir.
What do you think of them?
There is always room for improvement, and frankly, I prefer the Anna system to Isaac.
What system?
Nothing. It's not important.
Oh, and that's where Calvin McManus knew that Vivian Conley knew about Anna. Pretty cool. So it went from her working for Ortiz to her working directly for the division, essentially, through Calvin McManus. Next up, we have Firebrand Prototype. More Vivian Conley.
Mobile fire starter. But why? If you need to do a controlled burn for forest fires or to create a perimeter, you want to make a terrestrial drone with a flamethrower. Yes, No. What if it could jump? Still? No. Aerial drone with a flamethrower? Cal didn't like warhounds that walk. He will flip out if you propose aerial fire. Come back when you have something less war crimey.
And that's where she came up with the war crimey comment. Pretty funny. All right. Next, we have Concept. This is Clair Ortiz with Calvin McManus.
How much is this going to cost me?
Not much. It will barely make a blip on your defense budget.
Uh-huh. And how much of this is on Nat's budget?
The majority.
That's my girl.
We're ready for the prototype. Since we can't do real-world field tests, we just need access to the facility to build the test site.
So this suit of yours is predominantly for data capture.
It can have a variety of functions, but I believe the best use case will be assessing your operators and testing their physical and mental limits.
And how did you get Nat on board with this?
I told her we were using the suits to test the effectiveness of her warhounds.
Genius.
Thank you, sir.
Cal, please. Oh, and Claire, let me know what you need for the test. I'll make sure everything is ready.
Thank you, Cal.
Boom. And this is basically the initial start of Descent. So Natalia ended up paying for most of the Descent budget. The NSA analysts found the underground facility that Ortiz requested, and they also made suits for the agents to test, in which Calvin McManus give them Agent Johnson and Vivian Conley. Next up, we have Training with Ortiz Robotics.
Cal, I hear you've been taking Isaac out for a test drive.
Who told you that?
Isaac.
You've been monitoring our database?
Of course.
I thought the network was supposed to be secure.
It is. And I'm the one who makes sure it stays secure. At this rate, we're going to need to build another backup server or move your data to the cloud.
Running out of memory.
Whatever test you're running, it's filling the servers 5 times faster than we had originally scoped.
Are you asking for more money?
Of course not. I'm asking for solutions. Do you want me to build you another server, which you will inevitably outgrow? Or migrate your database to the cloud, which is limitless?
Cloud.
It will potentially make your intel less secure.
If anyone can find useful information in that sea of nonsense, good on them.
You'd be surprised what people can find when they start digging.
Most of it is just phone calls between friends and family. The occasional sad sack calling a phone sex line. If people want to wade through all that to find a nugget of sensitive information, I'll offer them a job as an intelligence officer.
You'd be surprised how many people you need to hire or arrest.
Yeah, I get it. So basically, Natalia is like, yeah, I can see everything you do on Isaac, obviously, because Diamond, Anna, and Isaac can see what they are all doing. They cannot control what they are all doing except for Anna. Anna's the only one. Next up, we have Talking with Ortiz Robotics.
Hello, Natalia. What can I do for you today?
No, I don't like it.
I'm at your service. Anything you require. Genocide, mayhem, or general crowd control. Your wish is my command.
I told you I don't want AI. No talking robots.
I told you we should have used Isaac.
Isaac is boring. Anna is hilarious.
I think accusing our honeypot of genocide is not as funny as you think it is, dear.
She's not going to cancel the project because one warhound called her on her bullshit.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, maybe not. Next up, we have Running with Ortiz Robotics and Black Tusk.
What do you think?
Thank you for making the voice go away. You're welcome. Do you think it looks strange, the running? Yeah.
Feels a bit intimidating.
I don't mind it feeling intimidating, but it doesn't quite feel human or animalistic. It's a running warhound. I know, but there is something unsettling about the transition from walking on all fours to running on 2 legs with the arms splayed out to the side. That's for balance. That makes sense, but I feel like it defeats the purpose of having them on 2 legs if their arms keep hitting the walls. Fair enough. The walking has a usage, but let's eliminate the running on 2 legs functionality.
Mm. And that's basically the overall design of these Warhounds, these DARPA dogs, because they do not go up on two legs. They stay on all four. They don't really run that much. I mean, they can. Yeah, okay. Now we're seeing why. That's pretty funny, though. I can only imagine a Warhound jumping up on its back two legs with its arms spread out, just running at you, hitting walls. That's hilarious. All right, next up we have Stairs with Ortiz Robotics.
Excellent.
Oh, good.
Their agility and balance is getting much better. Do you attribute that to the mapping and guidance systems or the redesign on the chassis?
The pulse mapping.
Well, keep up the good work.
You're not going to tell her about the Shade Tech integration?
What's the point? She wanted them to be smarter, but she doesn't want the AI. The only way they are smarter is with the AI.
I hope this doesn't come back to bite us in the ass.
She knows these are all in the same network. If she wants a bespoke system, that's time and money she has not approved or budgeted for this project. Until these are active in the field, it doesn't really matter, and we are years away from deployment. For now, until we finish the R&D, it's easier and safer to build everything on the same system. We can work on segregation later. But for now, we need to do final approval on the prototypes.
Fair enough. Next up, we have Uncomfortable with Ortiz Robotics.
They can do what?
They can walk, run, jump, navigate stairs, and, if you want, talk.
No.
That's paid for the R&D. There is no impact to your budget. You effectively can get the upgrade for free.
I do not want your cyberpunk nightmare for my agents.
But think of the applications.
They're supposed to appear to be normal people. How the hell is a high school gym teacher going to explain why they have a walking, talking warhound in their garage in Texas?
Hobbyist roboticists?
Shut it down.
Do you still want your agents to have the potential to access Natalia's Warhounds if the need should arise?
Only if they have classified clearance.
Copy that, sir.
Boom. So basically, right then and there, he shuts down the idea of division agents having their own Warhounds, but he also leaves the idea for the hunters to be able to shut them down. Pretty cool. Next up, we have Evolution with Ortiz Robotics.
Natalia, I have to apologize.
I don't want you to apologize. I want you to fix what you've broken.
It's not broken. It's just legacy programming from our experiments into bipedal movements.
We already determined that in the field, conditions are too unstable, and when fully equipped, the Warhounds fall on their backs when they try to run or traverse stairs. They turtle. I ordered Warhounds, not war turtles.
I understand.
So fix it.
This would require an entire redesign and to kill the base code.
How long will it take to rebuild?
A year?
So, either I have Warhounds that will occasionally rise onto two legs and interface with computers if they detect a threat to their operating system, or we start from scratch and I drop another million into your failed experiment.
Yes.
Fine. Can we confirm that you fixed the bug with the hovercraft guidance system?
I can. You will no longer beat your hovercrafts, as the guidance system will manually measure water levels, rather than relying on depth maps based on average water levels.
Excellent. Is there anything else I should know?
We regret to inform you that our other clients have decided not to order Warhounds, so unfortunately we cannot offer a mass production discount unless you would like to increase your order from 500 to 1,000, at which point the price per unit significantly drops.
Run the numbers for licensing the blueprint. I'll produce them myself. With how slow you've been to complete the prototype, you'll deliver one Warhound a month for the next 15 years to fill my original order.
Once we are at full production, you can expect 100 Warhounds a month.
I'll believe that when I see it. Run the numbers, then we'll talk.
Oof. That's how she builds the Black Tusk. Next up, we have Cancelled with Ortiz Robotics.
I'm sorry, Viv, we're gonna have to pass.
You can't be serious.
We don't see a market for this, and rather than move from the pitch to proof of concept, we are gonna have to cancel this project.
You're making a huge mistake.
You have 2 months left on the original deal. If you can come to us with something that we can sell to either Cal or Nat, we can talk about renewing your contract. But based on what we're seeing here, I would start getting your resume ready.
Fuck.
Damn. And that's right before they let her go. Next up, we have proof of concept with Clair Ortiz pitching Anna.
Imagine it. No Intel analyst sifting through data, completely automated.
But how would they detect a legitimate threat?
With the algorithm, we use keywords, phrases.
Okay. But what if you're at the movies and the AI thinks the action on the screen is a real firefight?
We use voice recognition and biometrics. We hear the speaker, Anna identifies the speaker, and then does a biometric scan to determine if it's coming from a person or a recording.
That's really smart.
Thank you.
Who's Anna?
The AI.
Duh. Next, we have the Anna prototype.
What do you think?
I think you are brilliant and amazing, and we are going to be rich.
Bullshit detected.
She may be too much of a smartass, though.
Hostile detected. Permission to engage? Stand down, Anna. Standing down.
I think she's great. But she may be a little off-putting for some people. I mean, you don't think she's too funny?
No. I think an AI with personality will make people feel more comfortable when they're alone in the field.
You don't worry that they'll grow to hate her?
You always hate your handler. But you put up with their bullshit because you know you would be lost without them.
Nice. And then here's Anna's first test with Vivian Conley. Oh.
You want me to run an unauthorized field test with your AI? Yes. Sounds like fun. For this test, I just want you to go somewhere, run a pulse scan, and see if you can map the region. Easy. How populated do you want the scan to be? Like shopping mall on Black Friday or the park on a rainy day at 2 in the afternoon? Split the difference. Why don't you take a trip to New York? Go see a play or something. As long as you're paying, your wish is my command. Thank you, Viv. Oh, and please, don't tell Alex about this. I want to make sure she works before we pitch to Cal. What they don't know can't hurt them. Exactly. We can purge the data later.
Nice. So basically, Vivian Conley was the first division agent to test Descent. Vivian Conley was the first person to test Anna. And Vivian Conley was initially one of the first wave agents that ended up going rogue. Next up, we have a field test with a 50 cal.
How did it feel, Agent?
Good. Really good. Much easier to get in than I expected for a full bodysuit.
We've installed a cooling and heating system, recirculating your perspiration to maintain optimum temperature inside the suit. An uncomfortable agent is a dead agent.
That's a good one. I'll have to remember that.
How's the pain threshold?
Can't really say. Use your cover, make sure the hostile can't hit you. Don't act like an idiot trying to get shot and you won't feel the pain.
I see the potential here, Claire. But Brian might be too good for your little test.
God damn, that fucking hurts!
The test isn't over. Thank you for your feedback, Agent Johnson.
Nice. And of course, he's wearing one of those Descent suits. All right, next we have Hoskins. There's going to be a few of these with Hoskins. So Hoskins gets recruited by Aaron Keener. So I hope you're ready for this. It's a little turn. This is a new storyline. Here we go.
Have you heard enough?
Yes. For now.
If anyone knows about picking a side and making sacrifices, it's you, Hoskins.
I have no reason to trust you, Keener.
No, you don't have to trust me. But do you trust them? After what they did to us, do you still believe in the noble cause of the division?
At the end of the day, you're asking me to defect.
Be honest. Is there a reason not to? Be my Ajax, Hoskins.
Ajax committed suicide, Keener.
But before that, he was a hero.
And continuing the storyline with Hoskins and Aaron Keener, here is Upstate. So he is basically recruiting this division agent to be one of his rogue agents.
Is my family okay?
Ah, they're perfectly fine. Had a friend in Buffalo run out to the farm to check on them.
Is that a threat?
Of course not. It's a sign of goodwill and A demonstration of our reach.
That sounds like a threat.
I can get you off the island. My network will get you to them upstate. You can hug your kid and kiss your husband and make sure everything is okay.
What do you want in return?
When you're confident they're safe, I will leave some people to keep an eye on them. Just in case.
Well, I do what, exactly?
Go on a little field trip to a small installation in a tiny town in the middle of nowhere.
And this is where we start to get into Silver Creek and the division Heartland. Not only that, but both of these characters are in the DLC, and they have been teased in other comms. Here's the next one with Agent Hoskins and Aaron Keener, called Chicago.
How was the Windy City?
Lots of refugees from the north. Canadian healthcare is not what it used to be.
Harsh winters and uncontrolled borders. Snowbirds migrating south to greener pastures. That makes sense.
Can only imagine how hard things would have been after the trade route shut down.
Mass shortages. Makes people do some pretty desperate things to survive. Sounds like Chicago's in the same boat.
I saw trucks going in and out of the city. I don't know who's supplying them, but it wasn't Sarah.
How could you tell?
Biker gear isn't exactly standard issued security and uniforms for Sarah drops.
So these are all initial teasers for Heartland. A lot of the characters in the division Heartland look like biker people, and that was the whole aesthetic for a good portion of Heartland. Kind of rural, type of people. Anyways, she was in Chicago. She was, trying to monitor these transpos. But at the same time, she's going to a smaller town, and here is that smaller town.
This place is a war zone. I figured it would be bad, everything is, but you could have warned me it would be this bad.
Welcome to a picturesque...
Thanks. Not the small town vacation I was hoping for. There's fighting in the streets, there's a resistance, but they look like shit. Where the fuck is the division?
You were a good EMT. Remember to ignore the chaos. Cal's Hunter is the mission. Stay alert and expect contact once you get close to the installation.
So at this point, we are in Silver Creek. Picturesque Silver Creek. All of it is redacted because at this point, the Division Heartland was canceled. Next up is another one for Heartland, and this has some information that we get later on during the manhunt. First Rogue, and we will get more information about this roster during the DLC. Here we go.
Any opposition?
None.
No one was guarding the base?
No. If there are any survivors, they fled.
Did you find what they were looking for?
Isaac did. Echo reconstruction.
Good. What was it?
USB drive. With a roster.
Did you recover the drive?
I wouldn't be calling if I didn't.
Good. Anything else of interest?
Yeah. The way the agents here died. I asked Isaac to do a sweep and status report of any agents. 4 hits came back, all deceased. They were infected with green poison, but that's not what killed them. Team went to a local lab working on the antiviral for DCD before they scattered and died.
You might want to scrub that from the servers.
I don't know how to do that.
Don't worry. Theo can take care of it. What's the lab called?
Now, that was the last one with Hoskins and Aaron Keener, just for a little bit. And the roster and those division agents, I believe we get more of that with Donovan Tower over here. Now, we are moving on to Kevin Park, and this is another timeline. So listen up.
Okay, so in the event of an emergency, you want to be able to access all communication devices.
We already have that. It's called the National Emergency Broadcast System.
Sure. But say we have an EMP attack or a solar storm or someone attacks the system.
You want to create a redundancy?
I want to create an autonomous communications tool that can access and collate data.
You should talk to Claire.
Who's Claire?
Never mind. That's... shit. Never mind. I can't talk about it.
Oh, one of your secret DARPA consultant buddies?
Something like that. Listen, your comm systems... it's a good idea, but it's not anything new or special.
Well, not yet, but if I can get the funding grant, I can work on the AI system.
Yeah, you should really talk to Redacted. You're such a hexagon, Kevin. You really are.
I mean, so basically his buddy Kevin Park, the Hexagon, is trying to come up with the exact same concept that is already in works with Anna and Isaac and Diamond. And that's basically just a information collecting system that can be autonomous and anonymous. Next up, another one with Kevin Park.
I made quite a few upgrades to it. The network interface is more stable, the design is more robust, I fixed a ton of bugs, doesn't crash as much, I upgraded the hardware, improved the battery life, I even added customization options to the screen.
Nerd. Not gonna lie, it's impressive.
Thank you, Professor.
We'll need a full demonstration of its capabilities, of course. The technical schematics, review the code.
I can share most of it.
All of it. You want funding, right? You bring the prototype and your documentation, I bring the relevant people, and we will get your project funded.
Will you bring Claire?
Shut up, Kevin.
And here is the last one with Kevin Park, I believe, called Exploits.
Trig.
Yeah?
That redacted Claire you said I should talk to before you remembered I shouldn't know she should exist?
What about her?
She wouldn't happen to be Clair Ortiz, would she?
Get that name out of your mouth. Who told you?
No one. She was at a conference on AI and guidance system applications. We got to talking, I pitched her link, and she told me it was adorable but couldn't compete with Isaac.
Stop talking.
Do you know what she's working on?
Seriously, stop talking.
If left unchecked, her work would violate every privacy law.
Seriously, Kevin, shut the fuck up.
I can't believe you aren't concerned about the security risks of a system like that. We have to tell someone. We need to warn them.
Kevin, do you like handcuffs?
What?
If you tell anyone about Isaac, you'd be a traitor to America. You want a permanent vacation in Guantanamo?
No.
Then learn when to stop talking.
And basically, that's your AI consultant outside of Ortiz who kind of knows what they're doing and knows the privacy risk that is involved. All right, so moving down, hey, we're in the last little section here. This is everything to do with Manny Ortega and the Shade agents. This was during the manhunt, and this will give you a little bit more insight on Agent Kelso and what was going on with Manny Ortega and everyone at the White House while we were doing the Kelso manhunt last year. Here it is.
I don't get how our comms are their comms.
Manny, seriously? It's the same network. It's like you work at the same place. You use the same internet connection. If you have permissions, you can just look at anything you want on anyone's computer that's connected.
So we can hear everything they're planning. That's great.
You could, but Nat figured out the exploit and was working on a fix.
Was it ready?
Kind of. She needed more power to run the servers. That's what she was having me set up.
Bertie? Did you set it up?
Yeah, 'cause I thought I was working for you. Fucking Johnson told me it was to help take down the rogues that plague the division. How the fuck was I supposed to know you were the rogues?
We're not.
You're fighting the Black Tusk. Cal is with them. If he's in charge and you're fighting him, you're kind of rogue, my dude.
Yeah, dude. You're kind of rogue, man. If you're going up against Calvin McManus, he's the leader of the division. So now you're basically the leader of the rogues. And Manny Ortega clearly had no idea how these AI systems work. And that's why he was talking to Birdie about it. He's like, oh, they can see everything we're doing, but we can see everything they're doing? That's cool. And Birdie was saying how Natalia was trying to fix that, but the whole recruiter manhunt kind of got in the way. Here's another one with Birdie and Manny Ortega called Biometrics.
Okay, I'm still confused. Explain how they work again.
The biometric locks?
Yeah. It's like a scan of my eye in my hand, and then it grants me access, right?
If it was your eye and your hand, that's easier to trick than this. You just take someone's eye and hand and you can access the bunkers.
Oh, that's dark.
Well, that's just like what they do in every spy movie ever. So Claire added extra steps. Your pulse is like a fingerprint. It's unique. Your voice is unique, but deepfake tech makes that easier to manipulate, so you have to have all of them at the same time. That's harder to fake. It's also specific to the user. Wrong key and wrong biometric signature, access denied, and you're fucked.
Why?
case, you get locked in a room until someone clears the lockdown and you're taken in for interrogation.
Worst case.
You activate a kill switch that kills you and everyone around you.
Brain.
That's only at like the super high security locations. Most places put you in lockdown, or if a lockdown protocol is impractical, like for cargo shipments or something, they're rigged to incapacitate you with gas or electricity, whichever makes more sense in the environment. Electric traps and water have unintended consequences. The gas is better, it's just a bad hangover. Shock treatment? Half the time you end up pissing yourself, and more open to suggestion and psychological reprogramming, huh?
Basically, that's what happened to us during the end of the Kelso manhunt. We were trying to open up that briefcase, and because the biometrics did not match, it shocked us. And then Keener ended up taking that briefcase, remember? And then he says, "Thanks, agent." And then him, Kelso, and Theo leave. That was the entire end of year 5. And it makes sense. Pretty cool. Next up, we have, this is another storyline. So this is going to be a storyline where Calvin McManus activates a hunter for Silver Creek and the Division Heartland. Here we go.
Call me Cal. Time to come out of hibernation, Agent. There's work to do. Drop whatever you're doing right now. Just walk out. I need you to gather a team. Take whoever you think you'll need and go to immediately. Infiltrate the town and set up a forward operating base. You'll receive further instructions once you get to...
And that has everything to do with Silver Creek. So he's sending a hunter to Silver Creek. And remember, Aaron Keener already told Hoskins that her main mission was Calvin's hunter. Here's the next one, called Unwilling.
What do you mean the agents are unwilling? You tell this noble squad they don't need to stay in New York to honor their fallen soldiers. Remember, you cannot tell anyone these orders come from me. We need to keep this one close to the vest. You're the only person on the planet who knows about my involvement in this mission. I'm not ready to let this particular cat out of the bag.
So he's basically telling that hunter that he needs to work harder on recruiting those rogue agents to becoming hunters. Here's the next one. Calvin McManus is talking to the hunter that is en route.
I can see you're making progress and finally on the move. Oh, that was a nice speech, by the way. Pushing the potential threats to the core and the rogue cherry on top? That was a thing of beauty. I'm not gonna mince words, soldier. The program hinges on this.
And I believe we have 2 more. Here we go. This one's called Secured. And this one was a cool one, talking about hunter bunkers.
You've arrived in... That's good. I need your team to secure the base at the... and set up shop. As soon as you can, you get to the basement and locate the hunter bunker. From there, you can access my database and secure the roster.
Pretty cool. Hunter bunker. And here's the last one with Calvin McManus and that hunter, called Alerted.
She's an... Agent, I told you never contact me directly. You are breaking protocol. Wait, what do you mean she's an...
Isaac pinged her signature requesting backup as she crossed the border 6 hours ago.
Did you provide her with backup?
Of course not. I know my orders and I will not deviate from the mission.
Good. Good.
But sir, sorry, Cal, why are we worried about Agent Hoskins being in...
Well, first, how the hell does she even know about... She was in Lower Manhattan securing the City Hall the last time we talked.
Fair enough. What's the second reason?
She was in Lower Manhattan. You know who else was last seen in Lower Manhattan?
Aaron Keener, sir.
Exactly. And if those two aren't working together, I will eat my hat.
She doesn't really seem the type. I mean, she killed her sister to save the Sarah camp. If she didn't go rogue then, I don't really see her going rogue now.
Precisely.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand your meaning.
The woman who kills her sister for strangers is the woman who'll do anything for the mission. And if her mission has been corrupted, if Keener has manipulated her into believing I am the enemy, that's a woman who walks from New York to through a blizzard in February. That's not a woman I want to underestimate.
Copy.
Now, how about you finish the job? Get the hunter roster off the Shade database onto that thumb drive and wipe out every last trace of the program. I'm not ready to activate the hunter protocol. There's too much at stake, but we cannot let a rat like Keener know the identity of every agent with that security clearance. Do you understand what's at stake here, soldier?
I do. Consider it done, sir. I've already backed up the roster on the drive. It's stashed in my bunk. Better to hide it in plain sight. I'm starting the wipe now. I need to get back to the team. Donovan called a meeting at the conservatory.
Report back once you find out what he wants. And please, call me Cal.
So that agent was coughing. That agent also had the hunter roster, and that is the same roster that Hoskins ends up finding. So this roster has all the names of the agents who are under the hunter protocol. So this is a hunter roster. Now, that agent also talked about Donovan, and the next few comms are all about Donovan. These are the agents that are sick in Silver Creek. These are also the agents that Hoskins was reporting as dead. Let's find out more about Donovan and these agents. And this is where we learn about the mutated green poison.
We have a situation at the lab. Hope that you and your crew of geniuses could help us out.
You have your own crew of geniuses, don't you?
I do, but they're panicking. We've had an outbreak. The whole lab is infected. Geniuses and grunts, doesn't matter. We're all fucked.
I'm sorry to hear that, Donovan, but you should have the resources to handle an outbreak.
That's a thing. They think it's mutated. It's the poison, all right, but it's different. They're afraid. We need help. If you could just talk to them and give us some more med kits.
I'm sorry, Don, but that's not possible. We don't have much left. After the outbreak at the detention center and what happened on Roosevelt Island, we don't have anything to spare. Let alone any way to get any supplies to you. Sarah's basically abandoned. Why do you think I'm here?
Fuck.
I am sorry. You have your lab. I hope you're able to figure something out.
Yeah, me too.
All right, continuing on with this timeline with Donovan. Here we go.
For your sake, this better work.
Work is a relative term, but you'll live.
I don't like being your guinea pig, Kane.
We don't have any other options. I'm sorry, but this mutation of the virus, it's not responding to the antivirals. I wish I had more time to perfect a broad spectrum, but I'm sorry, we're out of time.
I don't think you're sorry. I think you're glad we're infected.
Donovan.
Another opportunity for you to test your research. It's fine, Liam. I get it. We're out of time. There's no other way. But I'm warning you, if I lose even one of my people from your experiment, your death will not be quick.
Donovan, this will keep us alive. It will keep the virus in check. But I need live variola chimera samples to continue the work, to actually make a cure.
If I live, I'll get you those samples. You just get those auto-injectors ready. We'll be your little pigs. But if you fuck this up, you will unleash the wolf.
Unleashing the wolf is a term for hunters, just so you know. And hunters usually like to have that axe that they put into their enemies. Pretty gruesome. But these agents are obviously sick, but note there, the mutated green poison, his doctors are not coming up with a cure. They have these remedies where they're taking these experimental antivirals to help combat this new mutated poison, but they need the actual live virus to make an actual cure. Because of all these mutations, they're not sure how to make a cure to the original virus. Here we go. Here's the next one with Donovan.
How close are you to finishing your broad-spectrum antiviral?
Mr. Tower, I'm sure you're well aware that project is a matter of national security and you do not have the proper clearance.
Highly classified, I understand. But I don't have time to deal with red tape bullshit. We got our own antiviral in development. but that shit is gonna kill us sooner or later.
Oh, well, if you have anything at all, you're in a better position than 90% of the country.
Fuck that. We need live virus samples of the unmutated green poison, and we need them yesterday. Without them, the geniuses here can't do the tests they need.
Oh, I am so sorry we can't help you. Our work here is our only priority. Oh, I do recommend you reach out to DCD headquarters.
You know what? Fuck you and fuck your lab.
Ooh. Yeah, her voice was not really helpful. She sounded pretty petty. But you can see how these agents, they're encountering this mutated green poison. They're in Silver Creek, and they're all pretty much dying. They're trying to figure out how to get a live virus to them to where they can try to make a cure. Here's the next one with Donovan reaching out to MIT.
Everyone is giving me the fucking finger now, Mackenzie. How do you think I fucking feel?
Calm down, Donovan.
You know Wendy Wright is dead, right? I had to step up, take charge. And now my people are barely hanging on. DCD are useless. Ann Arbor is fucking incompetent. And you're telling me to calm down?
I didn't know. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Listen to me, Agent. If we can't get what we need, I'm not sure what will happen. Steps will need to be taken.
Steps? What do you mean by steps?
Tell me, how close is MIT to manufacturing a proper BSAV?
Not close enough.
Are you giving me the finger too, Reed?
I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I wish we could help, but we're not ready.
I mean, he was basically talking about going rogue there. He's already threatened one of the doctors or professors, and he said, don't let the wolf come out or whatever. And now he's threatening these other agents, like steps will be taken. And here's the last one with Donovan, DCD headquarters.
Hey, Harlan. I've still got a lot of nervous geniuses around here.
What can I do for you now, Donovan?
The boys are asking for me to secure a transpo of live virus from your facility to ours so they can keep working on the broad-spectrum antiviral.
Just go outside and use one of the infected.
They're concerned about mutations and other diseases. Want to know if you have clean samples of the original virus for their tests.
No one here has the resources to create and maintain those samples. Have you checked with Ann Arbor?
I have. They don't have any to spare. Told me I should check with you.
Well, if what your team is looking for is a steady stream of the same variant of the virus, your best bet would be to isolate an asymptomatic carrier and have them volunteer to do regular blood donations.
Thanks for the help, Harlan.
Glad you think that helped. Be safe, Donovan.
And that concludes our entire DescentCom folder. So basically, Donovan and those agents are going to try to find a asymptomatic carrier and try to find a cure for them. But we already know through Hoskins that they all end up passing away. Now, we have heard about how Descent was made. We heard about how ISAC, Anna, and Diamond was made. We heard about how Calvin McManus and Natalia were first enemies, but then they ended up getting together. We also heard about how Vivian Conley was in the fold, how she tested out Descent. Anna, she tested out a lot of things beforehand. She was in pretty deep. We also learned more about the Hunter protocols and how that was started and put in place. We also heard about the origins of going rogue. And we also had more information about Silver Creek and the Division Heartland. There were many storylines here, but this is the entire storyline from year 5 all the way to year 6, season 2. This is 18 months of storyline right here, and this is the last 18 months of lore. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to shout out where you're from. But that is all of the lore leading up to the DLC. So I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, we have the Manhunt lore that you can check out, but I think the Descent lore was highly recommended because a majority of the people out there do not have all of the Descent comms. But I am happy to help. I am Kamikazevondoom, and if you found this helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form, please Hit that thumbs up, support the channel by subscribing, and let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you want me to do more of these lore videos, just let me know in the comments section below, and I will try to put those together. But again, I'm Kamikazevondoom. Take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.